Greetings, gamer guys and gals. Welcome to part number 54 of my Let's Play Fire Emblem 5 Thracia 776. And in today's episode, we're going to be moving on with the Baron in Black. And dealing with this chapter as best as we can. Animations are off for just the moment. I'm going to be turning them back on once the turn becomes mine. And then we're going to be dealing with all these enemies. I decided to do something a little bit risky, and that is putting Merida within the range of Galzus. I have to hope and pray, basically, that he doesn't get a movement star. If he does, I have to reset. Reason being is because he can just destroy Merida. She doesn't have her Merida sword on, and I didn't want it on her just in case he decided to attack her up close, because he would get destroyed by her. But it's also the only means by which I have in order to make sure he can't proc something like Luna or Astra against her. He could still proc Luna at range, but I don't know that he can proc Astra, so we're going to be finding out. Hopefully that's not the case. And of course, we're finishing off all of these beasts, these Latrians, destroying them in their fiendish ways. Absolutely love how powerful Vantage is with Brave weapons in this game. It's actually kind of nuts, that combination. You don't, if you have strong enough units, you don't even need something like Wrath. So the fact that Vantage Wrath doesn't coincide with one another, they can't work well with one another, I would dare say it's not that big a deal. Alright, Cell Sword, you're gone. Oh, well, that's kind of saddening. Luckily for us, that doesn't truly matter, because since he did not get a movement star, which would have been terrifying, we're going to be able to go ahead and just reach him with Merida this turn. And of course, Xavier got poisoned. Somebody had to get poisoned in my group, right? Alright, so with that being said, we're just going to move up with Leif with his Kingmaker. Would be very nice if Nana was in the middle. I could have put her in the middle, especially considering that we don't really need her on the left, but it's okay, it's whatever. We actually need to make sure we turn on animations. Very, very important. And we're going to talk to, let's see, let's equip a silver sword here. We're going to talk to Galzus.
It's you, the swordsman that rescued me. I always hope I'd see you again.
What did you come back here for? You're still just a little girl. Swords ain't toys, you know.
Back then, when I was possessed by that cursed blade, I had a vision of my father. We were separated when I was very young, but I still remember him clearly. He was a towering mountain of a man, strong as an ox, and yet gentle. Galzus the Sellsword. It's you. You're my father.
Ah!
Why aren't you saying anything? Please, please just answer me.
You don't blame me?
I'm the one to blame. Those slavers only caught hold of me because I didn't listen to you. Besides, I wasn't their prisoner for very long. Commander Avel rescued me soon after. I never held a grudge against you, father.
I'm sorry. I searched for a long, long time, but you never turned up. Besides, with the man I am now, with all the blood I've got on my hands, I figured it was better if you didn't have anything to do with me, wherever you were.
Just like that? It doesn't matter what's happened since then. We'll always be family.
That lady, the swordsman who got turned to stone. She's the one who rescued you from those slavers, right? The one who's raised you ever since.
That's right.
Then there's no way I'm leaving her behind. A man of Isaac always repays his debts.
And we get another one of the top 5 best combat units in this game, and literally the last recruitment. Galzus, level 20 hero. He cannot be leveled up anymore, which is funny because he actually has growth rates from what I can recall. He has a Fallout critical modifier of 3, has some very powerful items in his inventory, stuff that he will make very good use of: Master Sword, Flame Sword, and a Master Axe. 20 Strength, 20 Skill, 20 Speed, 18 Con, 17 Luck, 14 Defense, 9 Magic, 54 HP. Is the highest HP base in this game. Not anywhere near the maximum, though, because the maximum in this game is 80. I do believe there are a couple of folks who can get to the maximum naturally, at least close enough to the maximum. Marty being one of them, hilariously. I do think you can buy life rings, though, in the secret shop, which would be one of the only stat boosters in this entire game that I would dare say is worth purchasing, because a lot of your units would love more HP, especially your magic units. But he does have growth rates. I'm not going to even bother reading them off because I think it's funny that he has growth rates. They are of no use, especially because he doesn't grow even to get to his level. His stats are predetermined. So what's the point, you know? He has A rank in swords, A rank in axes, 5 vigor stars, 7 movement, Astra, so skill percentage chance to attack 5 consecutive times, and Luna, skill percentage chance for an attack to ignore enemy's defense. So there are several ways you can defeat Raydrik. Both Galzus and Marita can do it. Like, absolutely no problem, no issue, none whatsoever. So we do want to make sure that some of these guys, Master Bow, not good. What we could do particularly, having some Master Bow users over here is not that great. It's not something I love seeing. So we're going to have to use a Blizzard on one of them. Reason being is because we have enough units over here that we have to deal with. We're actually going to take out the other Master Bow user with Galzus. Oh, very nice. That's incredible. Alright, we're going to attack with the Master Axe. Okay, so Astra can proc at range. Not something I knew. That's pretty incredibly terrifying. For Seti, of course, we do want to use maybe 1 or 2 this chapter. Perfect. Awesome. Destroyed. Set has a pretty reasonable chance to KO Raydrik on his own, which is funny too. Alright, so Brave Bow, of course. We want to get rid of some of these guys, get some experience points that we don't necessarily need, but, you know, why not? Now, you are on a timer in this chapter. There are tons of reinforcements that will show up and make your day not so great. So it is for the best, in my humblest of opinions, that you block all the reinforcement zones as best as you possibly can, and as soon as you possibly can. Alright, so this guy has Hell. Hell is an annoying weapon. So it's 60 hit, no might, but that's because it reduces target's HP to 1 and it cannot kill. But the reason why it's so very powerful is because when you have a unit like Xavier right now who's poisoned, he would actually take poison damage, which can kill, after Hell. So we're going to have to take care of that. And how we're going to do that is probably with a silence use. Yeah, I think silence would be good here. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Move up Linowin. This is the last unit on this chapter that we're going to be giving any kind of status condition to. We don't need to for any of the others, because even though the Hallway of Doom on the left side, which Olwen and Nana are in, has Hel and Jormungandr users, they're never going to hit Olwen, because she's going to kill them before they possibly could, and they can't possibly kill Nana with that combination. Very nice job, Armalda. It's funny because I keep calling her Armalda, but it's definitely Amalda. Alright, so Nana, go ahead upward. And Olwen can go upward as... I mean, technically we could bolting one of these guys. I don't think it's necessary, though. Even if they both... Well, that guy has a flame sword. That's kind of funny. Lightning sword. Wow. So they've got magical swords? That's hilarious. They're no threat. Dire Thunder... We only have 4 more uses of this. We're going to have to equip and then equip this. We're obviously going to use the first Dire Thunder and then let the other Dire Thunder make its way. What we want to do is we want to rescue all of the boys, particularly. Armalda is going to have to rescue the other as well. And we can just move up. The rest of our units are not necessary to be moved, but like I said, this chapter is, you are absolutely on a timer. And you want to be careful of that timer. Alright, so... I try to complete this chapter around turn 5 or 6, and then move on. And I think we're pretty well fine for the time being, so we can just end turn. And of course, we'll hold down the A button, so these enemies will move just a bit faster. Very cool, hidden thing that you can take advantage of. Yeah, most of these guys would be doing nothing to Olwen anyway, except for the Hell units. They can have literally 0 magic. They're going to take you down to 1 HP regardless. Very deadly combination, Hell and Jormungandr. I think that's when poison is actually significantly strong in this game. Otherwise, it's not really that great, and, you know... Yeah, this is the problem with Merida having a cost. Any character who has a cost and has a lot of speed and HP, it's like a double-edged sword. Still worth it, in my humblest of opinions, but it can be annoying. And we do have to take care of these bishops as well. Oh, I forgot the bishops have restore staves. Luckily, they move last. Alright. So, we're going to rescue you. Just a couple more Dire Thunders to go. Lidwin doesn't really need experience points, being honest. It's kind of funny. And then we'll just use the Silver Sword here. Take out you, Mr. Sellsword. Merida is awfully angry at the fact that you and your buddy decided to hit her at range with those magic swords. She is such a buff unit. I would say she's like one of the best combatively viable units that are also growth units. Let's go ahead and use the Master Sword here. Much more hit. Much more reliable. Awesome. And then we've got 2 more units over here, so what we're going to do is attack you with Lino. And of course we're not attacking you at range when you have a ranged weapon. The enemies will do that to you, but I won't if I can avoid it. Yeah, at this point of the game, you're going to get tons of experience points, Paragon mode or not. It's one of the many reasons why I don't necessarily think that Paragon mode is quote-unquote cheap. Having the ability to just say no to the difficulty of Munster being kind of overwhelming at times is, in my opinion, worth the downsides of Paragon mode, because obviously there are downsides to it. There's downsides to the fact that all your characters do kind of snowball. They don't snowball like most people immediately would think, but they still do, to some degree. Okay, we're going to take your Physic here, and we're going to heal up. Merida. We have all of the boys rescued. It's going to take us several turns to get them up there. Luckily for us, we need those several turns anyway. Alright. Because we need to get someone over to the stairway by where the Loptrian bishops are, so we don't have to worry about reinforcements. And they will come continually. You open that door up there, too, they will come continually from up there as well. And then we can just keep on moving. Xavier doesn't need to do anything. These guys over here are virtually not needed any further. So we're pretty well wrapping up this chapter. We're pretty well close. We've got a few more turns that we have to deal with. But for the most part, we're making good progress. The best thing I can just tell people is that you don't want to hoard items in this game. You do want to make sure you're using them for good purposes. Like, for instance, the sleep, the blizzards, the silent staves, and stuff like that. I saved a lot of those uses because I knew chapters like this were coming up. And there's even worse predicaments than this chapter. So you still want some. You don't want to blow them all on this chapter, but you do want to use them on particularly the most difficult and annoying units, which is why I am usually the type who says that planning is your best friend in Thracia. People don't like Thracia because they'll say it's too difficult. Folks will say it's too difficult, but the problem is, and this is something that people should just realize at this point, Thracia is part of the Fire Emblem franchise, which is a strategy war simulator. It's not an RPG. Some people will say it's a tactical turn-based RPG. I mean, that can be true to an extent, because it is turn-based, it is an RPG, but that's not what this series was first and foremost. So the issue is... Alright, we're going to move up Merida. The issue is that you have to take into account that this is a strategy game. This is a strategy game. And because it is a strategy game... Alright, we're going to get all of our units ready for the attack on Raydrik. Because this is a strategy game, you want... Alright. That was totally not necessary to leave him back then. You want to make good use of strategy. It's kind of wildly simple. Wildly simple to understand. So, one of the things about this game that people hate the most is that in this game, you are hard-pressed to have a great time on your first go-around. Some people will say that's a bad thing. Here's the reality behind that. It is okay for you to lose a game. In fact, most video games have a lose condition. If you were to play this game blind and find yourself in a situation or circumstance in which you did not have door keys or any means to unlock doors, you are fully soft-locked in this game. No, actually, just hard-locked at a particular point in this game. If you have no way to unlock and open doors, you're just hard-locked. You can't do anything. And that sounds so terrible. That sounds like bad game design, except it's a lose condition. These games are short enough. They're not like modern games. Most modern games are so packed full of content and hours and hours and hours of gameplay that you can't quickly play through them unless you cheese them, or unless, like Breath of the Wild, for instance, perfect example, you can literally just go to the final boss straight off of the tutorial Great Plateau. Same thing is kind of true with Tears of the Kingdom. Those are great games, fantastic games, wonderful games, but if you want to play them to any good capacity and see the games for what they are, you're spending dozens and dozens of hours. This game, Thracia, if you play it efficiently, you play it well, you can get this done in a single sitting. This entire game. It would still take you a while, still take you a couple hours or so, several hours, but you could do it in one sitting. So the point of games like this that have artificial difficulty in the fact that there are things you must learn in order to be good at these specific games, it's kind of, oh man, it's such a hard thing to explain to some folks. It's kind of as if this game was entirely designed around the idea of replaying it. In fact, I would dare say it is 100% designed upon the idea of replaying it. 100%. I have played this game dozens of times. Not all of those were to fruition. I would say about a third of the total number of times I played this game, I have played to completion. The problem is, the reason why that is for me, is because my favorite part of this game is actually the Munster escape arc. Just because I think it's humorously difficult and interesting as well. So with that being said, I have reset a lot of times. This game will do that to you. But there's also safer strategies. And there's safer ways to go about things. And I never take the rougher or tougher strategies when I particularly have to go a long haul in a specific chapter. Alright, so yes, you see this right. I plan on defeating Raydrik with Merida. And how I intend on doing that is with the Merida sword. So the Merida sword gives her Nihil, which I don't know if that cancels Pavis. I don't think so. We're going to find out in a minute here. Unfortunately, I have no way of checking that. Well, I can just equip it to her. I don't know what I was doing. I'm being silly. Negates all enemy combat skills except for Nihil itself. Okay, so this probably does negate Pavis. So here's the interesting thing about Merida. When you attack Raydrik with Merida, you are only doing 15 damage. That's your full attack, but that's because she has 31 attack. Now he, with his Loptrian Fang, reduces... I could even put her here, but I'm not. It doesn't matter either way. Or here, actually. He reduces defense or attack power by half, and then it's rounded down. So 15 is the maximum she can even have with the Merida's sword. However, every crit she gets, Luna she gets, she's doing massive damage. So when she gets Luna, she's only going to do 15 damage, but if she gets crits, with Luna, she's going to do 30 damage a hit. I have seen battles with Merida and Raydrik in which she has fought him and attacked him almost all 80 times that she can specifically attack with these sets. So with a Brave Sword, Astra, a Cost, and Adept, she can attack up to 80 times. I have seen her get very close. So let's hope we get very close. I think that would be hilarious. In one round of combat particularly. If, for some reason, she goes through this whole round of combat, breaks the Merida sword, and still doesn't finish Raydrik, I will have to finish him off with somebody either of Galzus or Leif, particularly. If it comes to it, I will finish him off with Leif. But let's have a little fun with Raydrik.
I watched your grandfather die. I saw your father's castle burn. I outlived them, and I'll outlive you.
Now he's talking to Leif, unfortunately.
Oh, this is absurd. How could these children... Bishop Veld, I beg of you. I don't want to die. Help me.
And there's Raydrik, the Baron in Black. That's another thing I would change about him. He has generic Baron palette and whatnot. I wish they made him a Black Baron. You know, black armor, like he actually is supposed to. Is supposed to have. Alright, let's just go ahead and finish this guy off with Linowin. We don't need to, but why not? Why let him live if we don't have to? Give her some experience points as well. She doesn't need it. Even in the slightest. But hey, you know what? I appreciate the full level. Didn't really give her anything. One luck. Big whoop, you know. So, what turn is it right now? It is turn 5. So, very next turn, I'm going to be dropping off all of the boys in front of this door. Alright. So, yeah, we are done with this area. We just defeated Raydrik. And you saw that even without necessarily the Braggy's Blade, you don't need anything particularly to defeat him. You can defeat him with Zed, you can defeat him with Galzus, you can defeat him with Asbel, I've done that too. You can defeat him with Leif, with the Kingmaker, I've done that too. There are several different ways you can defeat him. Merida's probably my favorite, just because I love the Merida sword. I love the combination of attack skills that I've given her. There's been times, no joke, there have been times where she has broken her Merida sword when it had an overwhelming majority of its uses still left in a single round of combat with him, which is really funny. Alright, so drop. And then we will drop you. And we will drop you. Alright, so not sure who would be the one to open this up, but it's obviously not this boy. So Olwen can go over here. We're going to have her block that way. Let's rescue you again. I'm guessing it would be this civilian. Rescue you. And rescue you. And then let's just end our turn. Alright, so very strangely, I do think they have to be placed directly in front of the door. So let's drop you right there. Yeah, but that's not useful, my friend. Alright, so it's not him. It might be the one that Shroff has currently rescued. Or would it be... No, it'd be Laura. Laura was the one who had him rescued. And then we could just go right here and attack with Galzus. Master Axe. Perfect. The master weapons in this game are kind of hilariously broken, in my opinion. Alright, so the only thing we can do is, I think Nana is the only other one who has a boy that needs to be put in front of this door. Hopefully I'm right about that. We would like this done and over with as soon as possible. Alright, and the ones who are still awake... Oh, why are they not opening the door? I'm pretty sure these are the boy civilians. Yeah. Yep, that's the thing too, is the Welkenroen will all pop up out of, like, the throne. And here we go. Cool. Huh? This door sure is strange, ain't it?
Oh, I guess it's busted. Hey guys, wait for me.
Yeah, it's random which one of the boys are going to be able to open the door, so that's... It's not something you can actually know. And we get the Kia. The Kia staff is the only staff in the game. It's preferential to Sarah. It removes the stone status from an ally, and we can probably figure out why that would be. We don't really need to do that, so let's just go ahead and seize.
We fought for every inch, but Castle Munster is ours. Bards will sing of this battle for years to come.
But is Raydrik really dead, Augustus? After the finishing blow was dealt, his body just vanished.
Some wicked force is at work here. Of that, I have no doubt. The whole castle is enveloped in a foul energy. I suspect it's connected to the secret temple of the Lopter Church, which lies underneath this very castle. Until that vile place is reduced to rubble, we cannot consider Munster truly liberated.
A secret temple? So this is the Loptrian stronghold in Thracia.
Indeed. The man in charge of the temple is a bishop named Veld. He's a close friend and confidant to Manfroy himself.
Bishop Veld? What kind of man is he?
He leads the parish of Loptrians that infest Thracia with their presence. It is his responsibility to oversee the region's child hunts and to sick the Welkenroen on any villagers who resist. Raydrik was little more than Veld's pawn. And according to the prisoners we've rescued since, it was he who turned Lady Avel to stone.
What? That's unforgivable! This man Veld, he's the spider at the center of it all. Speaking of which, Augustus, now that Avel's rescue is within our grasp, what can we do to cure her?
As I mentioned before, the Staff of Kia could free her, but only those of Manfroy's bloodline can wield it.
We're no closer to finding a solution to that dilemma than when we first fled Castle Munster. So after all this, we're still just as powerless? We can't save Avel? Ugh. Was all this just a waste?
Nothing's been wasted, silly. I'm right here. I'll use the staff.
Sarah? You don't mean... How can you use the staff?
Because I know how the seal works. I mean, it was Grandfather that sealed it up in the first place, so...
Grandfather? It can't be. Sarah, you're Manfoy's granddaughter?
Don't make me talk about Grandfather. I never liked him. He was such a weird man. Let's just hurry up and save your friend. Don't forget the staff, Lord Leif.
And that is Chapter 24, The Baron in Black. Yes, the rest of this game is going to continue being kind of trivial, just because I plan on busting it wide open with all of the tools at our disposal. I want to thank you for joining me. If you like my content, please upvote and follow, or like and subscribe, depending on your platform. And while you're at it, have a great and glorious day gaming.